Hey guys, so there's this really cool BYU speech that I came across the other day, and I thought I'd just share it with you. It's by Robert-d-Hales, and it was in 1988. The title's Understandings of the Heart. It's to all, obviously, college students, and he talks about wisdom and knowledge and just kind of expanding your mind. But towards the end, he talks about something that's really interesting to me. So it's under the stewardship section. So basically, he tells you a story about President David Omake, and basically President Omake is in Utah somewhere at a hotel, and he comes across a group of brethren, and he is just straight up honest with them, and he's like, hey guys, so someday you're gonna have a personal priesthood interview with the Savior himself, and he's like, if you're interested, I'll tell you what he's gonna ask you, and I'll tell you in which order he's gonna ask you. So that's kind of crazy. So 1, he's going to tell you what the questions are, and 2, in what order he'll ask them. So order matters. So what do you think the very first thing he's going to ask about? Well, real quick. So he's talking to priesthood holders, right? You can definitely just flip the switch towards women, so it's not aimed just towards priesthood holders. But again, what do you think the first thing he's going to ask you about? Well, obviously it's your spouse, right? So he's like, hey guys, so first he's going to ask you about how you treated your relationship with your wife. Were you actively engaged in making her happy? Were you ensuring that her needs have been met as an individual? So basically, how did you treat your spouse? And then second, well, what do you think that one's going to be about? Well, obviously your children, right? So he says he will want an accountability report of each of your children individually, okay? So he will not attempt to have a simply a family stewardship, but he will request information about your relationship to each and every child. So let's say you have like 5 kids, and one of them is a boy, and his name is Dallin. And you're like, how's Dallin? How did you help him in life? How did you help him with his struggles? Did you teach him about the doctrine? Did you help him develop his skills? And did you help him to learn how to get through this life? What are you doing right now in his life? As an adult, maybe. Let's say he's an adult. What are you doing right now to help him in his life? Are you a great example for him and to him? So basically, every single child individually. And that obviously makes sense because Christ meets us individually where we're at, and he cares about the one. So he wants to know, how did you treat each one of your children? Third, he will want to know what you personally have done with the talents you were given in premortal, or pre-existence is what it says. So the talents, one way that I like to try to figure out what kind of talents I have been given personally is I like to go to my blessing, and I get a notebook out, and I have to do this every couple of months because I kind of forget what I've been given, and I just kind of forget stuff. And so I'll get a piece of paper and a notebook, and I'll just kind of go through the blessing, and that's one, and that's one. Also, you can read about it in section 46. That's not all of the gifts, but that's just a few of them. So I like to do that. And then, of course, we know from the talents parable that if you use your talents, you can multiply them. And if you don't use your talents, as we all know, they diminish, and sometimes they even get taken away. So he's going to straight up ask you, what did you do? Did you work at them? Let's say one of your talents is playing the piano. Did you practice it frequently? Did you try to learn harder things? Did you use your talent in church? Did you use your talent in school? How did you use it? So lots of questions there. Fourth, he will want a summary of your activity and your church assignments. So it says he will not necessarily be interested in what assignments you had, for in his eyes the home teacher and the mission president are probably equal, but he will request a summary of how you have been of service to your fellow men in your church assignments. So how did you serve your fellow men in the church assignment you were given? Really, society. How did you treat the sisters? Elders call him president. How did you help the bishop, and how did you help the men in your ward or your branch or whatever? So basically, how did you help the people around you in church? Fifth, he will have no interest in how you earned your living, but if you were honest in all your doings. Sixth, he'll ask for an accountability on what you have done to contribute in a positive manner to your community, state, country, and world. So this is just kind of notes from Fred. This is kind of where it's at. So basically, it starts with your spouse and it ends with the world, right? So basically, if we had to sum it all up in one sentence, it would be, How did you treat God's children? Starting with your spouse, the most important, down to your children, down to the church, down to the entire world. How did you treat the people around you? Were you kind? Were you considerate? President Nelson gave a talk a while ago, and he said, how you treat people really matters. The way you speak to people really actually matters. And I think this is basically what it's saying. Hey, how you treat your spouse, it really matters. How you treat your children, it matters. So I thought that was super interesting, and I just wanted to share with you.